of U.S. life insurance ownership. And I get this from LIRMA. LIRMA just came out with this study last year, and I think it's a great study because it gives us a lot of insights. And I'm going to share a lot of ideas. We got Raleigh, North Carolina, got the afternoon energy drink, trying to work into a niche market. Well, good for you. Congratulations. This is a great opportunity. If you're trying to work into a niche marketing, three things that you'll walk away knowing today. You'll walk away knowing how to identify what they say they're looking for. And that's really hard for advisors to get a hold of, to really listen to what people are saying, not just what they said. The second thing you'll walk away from this from is you'll kind of figure out how you can have split and dual messages in the same marketing piece. And the third thing you're going to walk away from is a clear idea of what kind of call to actions you want to have. So Lerma did this research last year, and they find that Black Americans report a higher level of financial concern than the overall population. And COVID-19 exacerbated these concerns. Who's surprised about that? Of course, COVID did. COVID should be top of the mind in almost everything you do, because thank God for the federal government and the news agencies creating dissonance in the marketplace so people are always having questions. Black Americans, according to Lerma's survey, are significantly more likely to be concerned about being able to save. Get ready to write this down. Being able to save for an emergency fund, pay their monthly bills, their mortgage. I know exactly what you're saying. Some of you are saying, well, how's this different for Black Americans than any other race and the population as a whole? We're going to get to that. But what it does show you is that we're all more normal than abnormal, right? The differences in us is what makes us common. And leaving their families in a difficult situation due to premature death. Now, I do like this phrase. So I would like for you to write down this phrase. Hi, Austin, Texas. I would like for you to write down this phrase, premature death. So, we think about final expense. We think about life insurance, paying for funeral costs. We think about a lot of those kind of things. But what terminology is being used here? The terminology being used is premature death. If I was putting together an email funnel with marketing messages to go out each week to stay in front of people, I would start looking at the terminology that people who responded to the survey actually used, because that terminology is what's going to help me align with them and make them feel like that I'm somebody that understands them. So yes, we have emergency fund, but keep an eye out on that. Keep an eye out on how they view emergency funds. Yes, we have monthly bills. Yes, we have mortgages. But when we look at this, and here's an overview of the survey, it's not only about niche marketing, it's about how to niche down. Oh, I love that, niche down. I'm going to write that niche down. I'll give you credit for it twice, and then I'm going to claim it for myself from now on. That was great. So look at the survey here. There's a few things I want to point out. I'm going to ask you to type in the chat box and tell me anything that stands out to you. Is there anything in particular that stands out to you? I'll give you a couple of hints. One of the things you want to look for, remember, the aqua color, I think that's aqua or green, is the survey participants. And the yellow is all races and ethnicities. God, I can't say that very well. So really what you want to focus on, to me, what I focus on, are the differences here in the two. The ones that are even, like the 43s and the 34s and 33s, the ones that are real close like that, the 29, 29, I'm not really looking at that. I'm looking at what the differences are. And so remember the last slide. I'm going to just pop that up there. Remember, it says significantly more likely to be concerned about being able to save for emergency fund. So they said being able to save for an emergency fund, 44% of the Black community over the other races, that's a big concern for them. But let's go down to the third one down, being able to support myself if I'm unable to work due to a disabling illness or injury. 41%. So 41% and 44% are pretty similar, right? But next month, May, is National Disability Insurance Month. If I was going to put together a marketing message to go out maybe twice during the month next month, I might put together a message that talks about the risk or the ability to financially provide for yourself and your family if you were disabled for a short term or a long period of time and you didn't have the emergency funds to tap into. See how I can take the two concerns in that survey and sandwich them together, make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with them, and send out a marketing message that would resonate to this particular niche market. And the reason I know it would resonate is that's what they said. I'm using the issues they said are important to them. Let's go down to the next one here. You've got paying for long-term care services if I become unable to take care of myself. 39 to 7, that's only a couple of points difference, but I want to show you something. Look at the next one, paying for medical expenses in case of an illness or injury. That's 37 and 35, but if you put the two of them together as a marketing message, then the real question becomes, are you more concerned in managing the costs of doctors, hospitals, prescriptions, or recovering at home after a procedure? If I package those two messages together and they respond, like I offer a free download, and they do a free download for the health insurance or the critical illness, or the disability. If they do the download for that, then that tells me what the messaging is going to be on the follow-up email. And when I talk to them, I'm going to use that exact questions that I just gave you. When you think about managing your healthcare expenses, you're more concerned about managing the costs of doctors, hospitals, prescriptions, or recovering at home after a procedure. See how I took those two things, long-term care and medical expenses, and I marry them together in that peanut butter and jelly sandwich and send that out in a messaging. Now I've got two messages, and how they respond to that email funnel will tell me what the next part of the messaging is going to be. But let's just follow through with this. So I've got pay my monthly bills. Now I'm only going to go down to the leaving an inheritance for my heirs. And the reason I'm only going to go down to there, although you could do paying my mortgage and rent, is because the ones that are a lower number than the 30s, it's not really that big. That should be part of our conversation with them anyway, but it's not something I'm necessarily going to package in my messaging. So before I go any further, type in the chat box and tell me which of the two after what we just talked about, which is long-term care and medical expenses, which of the two can you see packaging together, putting this together as a sandwich in an email trigger that you send out as a part of your funnel? So just type in the chat box and tell me which one you think you could do with that. Because the 34, 33, the job security and maintaining a steady income, where would that be important? Because that's only 1 point difference, right? So where would that be important? Well, if I go down to paying my rent and mortgage, well, if I can't pay my rent and mortgage because of job security, what a great message. And what a great way to resonate with people. So think about that. Just take a minute and look at that. Take a snapshot of that. Because what I would like for you to do this weekend is I want you to go through this and write out the messaging that marries up and how many email messages you could get out of this to put together a funnel. I haven't seen any comments coming in. I'm going to jump on to the next one here. So Black Americans are more likely to own life insurance than the general population. So comfortable retirement, absolutely. Comfortable retirement matters to everybody. It's just phrased differently. Emergency funds and needing money in case of medical or injury needs. I love how you put the emergency funds and needing money in case of medical or injury needs. Absolutely. You're getting the idea of it. Fantastic. Have a comfortable retirement, paying for long-term care. Ooh, I like that. You're matching the impact of retirement on whether you have the ability to take care of yourself or your spouse when they have long-term care needs. That's brilliant. That's a great way to do that. And